Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Mess 5150 with Malice Corp here for MaliceCast, episode 33. We are one episode from clearing out the season for this year. So thank you for coming and joining us. Today's major topic is going to be great moments in Nerd November. So all those great nerd historical moments that happened in the month of November. We'll talk about some nerd news that's kind of been trending and give an update of where we're at on the current nerd fight. But you have me here to keep everything moving along, but we have the wonderful people that you love listening to and hearing their thoughts and ideas and laughs and jokes and whatnot from. And since you see her on the screen, first and foremost, Super Hoovian is here with me. How's it going?
What's up, people? It's going well. It's Friday. It's a good day. It's a good day. Every Friday's a good day.
Did you even have to use your okay?
Okay. Okay.
You ain't got no job. You ain't.
How you gonna get fired on Friday?
And here I had the Phineas and Ferb theme blasting through my head.
And for those of you that got scared and wondered what the big giant baby on our screen was, that is Icy Zorro. He's back without the facial hair. So.
Yeah. Once a year I shave as a sort of, the whole Movember thing for raising awareness for prostate and testicular cancer stuff. So that's the one time a year that I shave, and then I just don't shave for the rest of the month, and that gets scary at the end too.
I could make another joke that.
Nope, not going
No,
there.
that is a great, fantastic thing to do. I just grew this out, so I can't shave it right now. So, and then also joining us, Igor. How's it going, Igor?
Also fuzzy.
Also fuzzy, yeah. We got to keep
shave.
People had to keep some of the facial hair on here, and if there would be too many baby faces, people might run away scared. I don't know. If you guys have been to the cast before, please hit that like button for coming back. If you've never been here before and you want to see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button that's there. Just to remind you bright and early on it, just hit that subscribe and that like, and we will appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming and joining us for today's cast. Like I said, we are going to talk about some great moments in nerd history. For the month of November, we're going to be talking about the current Nerd Fight poll, which is the best CW premiere episode for the current season that's running. If you have not voted on that, or if your favorite is not in the lead, go ahead and hit that link in the description. That'll take you to the website, the poll, the article, and make sure you vote. And you can vote every 12 hours. And we're also going to talk about some nerd news that's going on recently. Before we get into that, we always like to start off with what everybody's been geeking out on, nerding out on for the week to keep their nerdness going. So, Igor, what you been nerding out on?
Oof. Destiny remains very interesting, especially trying to do with the boss battles and the missions on timers. Nightfalls are not a joke. They're not a joke unless you're a speedrunner.
Nightfalls are never a joke in Destiny.
Darn right.
Darn right. Yeah. Until you learn those glitches that to get around the stuff. But
those are fun too.
Yeah.
Other than that, just trying to keep up on my comic books.
Oh, nice.
That's been fun as well.
Any new reads?
Well, not so new, but pretty recent. The final chapter of Mage by Matt Wagner is in swing, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
he's sad to see it go, but
with that.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good so far.
It is a fantastic book series, and as always, if you guys want to get some of the comic books and the books and movies and whatnot that we talk about, and you don't know where to find them, Amazon's a great place to find them. And going through the Malice Corp website, Malice-Corp, you'll see it down there, written on the screen. Go to that website, click on the Amazon link there. You help us, and it helps you get some stuff. So by going to Amazon. What have you been nerding out on, Zorro?
Well, I had a couple of days off in the middle of the week, so I played a ton of the new Assassin's Creed Origins. And I can tell you, this game is huge. I think they had, I'm sorry, is huge. Let me tell you, this game, it's best game. No, I think so. Normally they were coming out with Assassin's Creed games one a year for like a couple of years in a row there. And those were usually pretty good. They weren't terribly long, usually 30 to 40 hours a piece, I think, as far as gameplay through. This one, it's like they sat down because they didn't release one last year. It's like they sat down for 2 years and went, I don't want them to be able to beat this in a week, even if they're just sitting there doing nothing but playing. I've put probably, I don't know, 16 hours or so into it so far, and I'm about halfway through the third zone out of what looks like about 25 or 26 zones. It's huge. And
Nice.
the animation, the gameplay, all very, very smooth. Really digging it so far.
Very cool.
And then you're not the only one that shaved. We got our producer, Jack Malice, who you never see. He did shave as well for Movember. And
it's so weird when the air hits your chin.
Beacon was not able to be on screen with us tonight, but he is in the chat room. So if you guys want to talk to him, join the chat. He is up to season 3, episode 6 of The Walking Dead, doing what he does, binging episodes.
Prison.
And
That's prison. Not Beacon in prison. I don't think season 3 is the prison.
You know how he do.
You have a lot of time to binge.
He's just doing what he normally does. You know, prison.
That's not why he's not on the cast. He's not in prison.
Okay.
Also, Jack Malice is super excited. He said there's a huge Steam sale right now for Blood Bowl 2, and it's $10. You can get all the different add-ons as well. I think the different character groupings are around $4 instead of being $6 normally. Yeah, so you should go pick it up and find Jack Malice on Steam and play some Blood Bowl 2 with him, because he loves playing both the video game version and the tabletop version. So, and
the real life version. Oh, no.
And Super Hoovian, what have you been nerding out on?
I rewatched Stranger Things 2 because I had to.
Wait, rewatched?
Rewatched Stranger
So
Things 2. I watched it once when it came out. I binged it last weekend, and then I watched it again throughout the week to really soak it all in.
But you didn't get it all, so you got to watch it all again.
I will watch it all again. Just, I'm going to give it at least a month, and then I'll go back. It was really good. It was ridiculously good.
I have not been able to binge it yet. We got through the first 3 episodes, but my wife and me's schedule's been like super hectic, and I can't watch it without her. So, first 3 episodes so far, fantastic. I'll get the rest. I did officially for my week. I am fully caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I finished binging all that. For the factor to attempt to watch Inhumans, and I apologize to my brain and my eyes for doing that, because I don't know if it's Inhumans or if it's just a ad for Alani to do Disney's timeshare. Right. And go see.
Wow.
Sucks because I like some of those actors too, but man, that show is bad.
The acting is, the writing's bad. It's just the circumstances. Now I understand why. So with Inhumans, it was originally supposed to be a cinematic Marvel film. That was their original precedence, was it was going to come following off of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they were going to have a cinematic that was going to tie into. And they canned that and went to the television thing. And now I see why they went to the television thing, because if they would have put that out in the cinemas, it would have been.
It would have failed miserably.
Oh, horrendously. So, welcome Marley to the chat, and welcome Rob. I almost said Robart. Robert to the chat.
Hi,
we
Marley.
have some stuff talking about prison. Beacon saying shank or be shanked. And same thing, Beacon is stuck on episode 5 of Stranger Things because of schedule and wife. So
sorry, guys. I'm enjoying it enough for the both of you. It's okay.
Well, until I watch it fully, it's now enjoyed enough. But yeah, that's what we've been nerding out on. If you guys have been nerding out on anything else in the chat room, please let us know. So let's get into some of the nerd news. Big thing, because we all love talking about Superman. I know how much Jack Malice is his favorite character in the world. There is no character in comic books greater. He just says it all the time.
Especially if Nicolas Cage plays him. Especially.
Damn it.
You just make the Big Papa Matt very happy somewhere.
Granted, Jack Malice never says that, so before he comes on screaming or cuts the feed,
we're sorry.
So, but yeah, in the news, Henry Cavill, who plays Superman, pretty much came out and said they've done everything wrong with DCEU, which is funny to get one of your main actors saying that. His quote was that it hasn't necessarily worked, was the exact quote. He said, even if Marvel didn't exist, we'd struggle. There was a style there with DC we're going for, an attempt to be different and look at things from a slightly different perspective, which hasn't necessarily worked.
You know, I will end this right now by hear me and Superman together in the same sentence. Throwing that out there.
The problem, so what he said there is totally true, but and the issue is you can't be different just to be different. If they were different because it was a vision, like if it was different, if the vision was leading, then that would have been a whole different thing. But they were being dark and gritty just to be dark and gritty. And
that's what I love. He has a quote here that basically what you're saying, what I've said this whole time. He says, yes, it has made money, but it has not been a critical success. It hasn't given everyone that sensation which superheroes should give the viewer, which they don't. DCEU, ask you, Igor, if you've watched any of the films, it gives me except for Wonder Woman, I just get this like
the first 5 minutes of Wonder Woman, I was sitting there saying, "Oh my God, they remembered where the light switch was."
Yes.
And it went uphill from there.
I think the highest praise that most people gave to Wonder Woman was it felt like a Marvel movie.
Yeah. The funny thing about that is he says that Wonder Woman is their first step in the right direction, and hopes that they continue with that. So it's kind of interesting when you see one of your main actors that basically established this universe come out and say, "Yeah, it was all bad." So, the last thing he said. He says, I feel like now the right mistakes have been made and they haven't been pandered to, and we can start telling the stories in the way they need to be told. And that any successes within the superhero universe, especially within the DC universe, is wonderful because I want to keep telling the Superman story selfishly. That works for me. So
I like all this money they're shoveling into my house. Exactly. I'd like them to continue.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think on that, Super? Do you think same thing as the rest of the consensus, that they've been terrible on these, or
have they been terrible? No, they haven't been terrible. Outside of maybe the writing of Batman versus Superman, I mean, they were enjoyable to a point, but were they fantastic? By no means, no. I mean, I've seen worse movies. We're not gonna lie. But if I had to pick watching Batman versus Superman versus endless hours of Twilight, you bet your ass I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch Batman. I will watch that until I'm old and gray and wizened and can't get up to do anything before,
it's a better love story than Twilight too.
Dude, anything. The squirrel doing things to the tree outside is a better love story than Twilight. I mean, so I mean, when in comparisons like that, but could they be better? Absolutely. Absolutely, they could be better. And I would like to see them continue.
I'd like more retrospect from Jack in the chat room. He said that he loved Wonder Woman right up till the end, and then it was just blah. I'd like to hear why it went blah. So, because I thought Wonder Woman was good through the whole thing, personally. So
that sounds pretty solid.
And then they are making fun of Jack, as Beacon said, Jack and Superman sitting in a tree.
But we did finish it.
If
with
that happens, Jack's
CKING.
pushing Superman out of the tree. And he won't be able to fly.
Well, that's one of the main problems of Superman. How do you even tell that story? He's an invincible Boy Scout.
Well, but that's the thing. He's supposed to be an invincible. He's supposed to be a Boy Scout. Where's
the drama?
This telling of Superman has been, I'm gonna be just as harumph as Batman is, and then when you have both of them angsty to each other, harumph? I said harumph.
You did, yeah.
So when you've got angsty Batman and angsty Superman, all the goths in the world can't bring that thing back to
both with deep-seated mother issues. Martha.
How'd you know my mother's name? That was the
dumbest thing ever.
I forgot that line was in there.
I liked the idea, but wow.
Yeah. I did like the
Yeah.
idea. I was actually really looking forward to it. And then I watched it and I just went away sad. I just walked away sad from that movie.
From what I'm seeing from Justice League, it looks like they've learned from Wonder Woman, and it might actually be decent.
And with Joss doing a pass at it, that's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And moving on, plus still, Aquaman is just looking fantastic for the film. So
yes, which is very exciting to me.
I hope he's on the screen 70% of the time, because if not, that's very sad. Moving on to the next news article, we have some Star Wars news.
Nerd.
So Kathleen Kennedy spoke about Star Wars and what's on the Star Wars show, which is another podcast, about what their plans are. She said, we're sitting down now, we're talking about the next 10 years of Star Wars stories, and we're looking at narratively where that might go. Future stories beyond Episode 9 with these new characters, Rey, Poe, Finn, BB-8. But we're also looking at working with people that are interested in coming into the Star Wars world and taking us to places that we haven't been yet. It's exciting too, because it's a vast galaxy far, far away, so the possibilities are endless. So what do you guys think about this? They're basically saying they're going to continue these character stories. It's not the Skywalker series isn't over after they got 10 years of films that they're
Well, the cynical side of me says, well, with all the fun they've been having with directors lately, that's a safe way to keep your movies consistent, even if you have more upheaval like that. Yeah. But on the optimistic side, I feel like, okay, that's the really simple yet really effective way to keep the story smooth, keep it coherent, and pull it together more as a universe, as a narrative. DC Comics, you know.
And if you guys aren't here for the live chats, you'll miss the wonderful rants about Superman that are going on in the chat room, because Jack is just going off about what Superman really is. So, guys, be here live, because then you can see the stuff.
I'm Superman. I stand for truth, justice, and the American way.
Yeah, and drinking until you fall out a window. I'm cautiously optimistic about the Star Wars thing. It's mainly because Kathleen Kennedy is in charge of it. If you look at that woman's track record, she has been on some of the greatest movies of all time, stuff that you know and love. Let's see here. Starting back in 82 with Poltergeist, E.T., Twilight Zone, Temple of Doom, Gremlins, Goonies, Color Purple, Back to the Future, American Tail, Inner Space, Empire. This woman. I'm only up to 88. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? The woman is a genius. She only gets involved in fantastic stuff. So if as long as she's running this project and heading that up for Disney, I think it'll be solid.
Yeah,
good stuff.
To the point of all the issues they've been having with the directors and stuff like that. Another little tidbit that came out, Igor. Ron Howard basically said he pretty much redid the entire Han Solo film from what they had. Like they said they were bringing him in to finish it. Now he came in and torched it and said we're refilming all of this. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I think it's in the right direction, because I think we would have gotten a comedy Han Solo film, which I don't know how well that would have worked with Lord and Miller.
Maybe a few jokes here, a few jokes there, but I don't think it would have been consistently funny, and it would have been forced.
That's what I'm wondering, with Lord and Miller doing it, how close were we to a potential buddy cop film of Solo and Chewbacca?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, again, would it have been entertaining?
Watching Solo and Chewbacca just argue and who's the yeah.
I wanted to learn Shrywook, for I'm getting too old for this.
But with Howard in charge now, I want him to do it Arrested Development style with a narration.
Yeah. And now that
it's going to be fine, Chewie. It wouldn't be fine.
Now that Robert joined us for his what he's been nerding out, he went and saw the new Thor and said it was fantastic.
I've heard really good stuff.
I've heard it's fantastic. They said it's the highest reviewed Marvel film yet. So
really,
yeah.
So they didn't put all the good stuff in the trailer. Good.
Yeah. Well, and then the head of Marvel also said that if he has his way, he will have Jeff Goldblum in more Marvel films. So,
Cool.
Yeah. So, and Big Papa Matt just jumped in and said Thor was middle of the road. So, being the pessimist that he is.
That's a rave review.
Rave review. I want to go see it. I might go try and see it this weekend.
Yeah. Robert says, I was thinking it was going to be better, but not bad. So, Big Papa Matt's force powers are very good, and he's swaying Robert.
Robert, Matt just said you have a weak mind.
So, last topic of discussion for the nerd news. So there's this little company that makes little figures that a lot of people that if you're a nerd or a geek usually have like 1 to 300 of these things. And they compare them to Beanie Babies and that they're going to fall off the face of the earth and the bubble's going to burst and stuff like that. And the company's called Funko, and they make these things called Funko Pops. This is my Kevin Smith one that I just got. They just went legit.
Such a nerd.
They just went legit, and they rang the bell at this New York stock today, opening NASDAQ at $12 a share. So,
wow.
What do you guys think? You think this means that they're still going to go the route of Beanie Babies, or do you think they're more legitimized where
their company can last as long as they diversify? They can't just do the one thing, because otherwise it will be Beanie Babies or Pogs.
Yeah.
Oh, Pogs.
Yeah, but once again,
God,
it's a trading thing that never. Those are things that never became a legitimized thing, and
yeah.
This is the first time I've seen, outside of Marvel and stuff like that, where comic book companies went and became actual legitimized things. Where I've seen a collectible thing.
Collectible is in right now. See, collectibles used to not be cool. You were looked down on and mocked for it. And nowadays you're more mocked when you don't have this kind of stuff.
Fake nerd.
Yeah, exactly. You actually get judged. No joke. You get judged if you don't, like, your love of fandom is based on how much merchandise you have. And I think that's crap. Number one, because you could be a poor person and not able to afford stuff and love something just as much as someone else, But I think, in today's world, it's going to work out a lot better. Because let's face it, Beanie Babies, they were just creepy. They were creepy. Those things, I swear, they came alive in the middle of the night and they ate people. They did. They did. Them and Furbies.
Furbies, right? I can get.
Furbies were creepy. Yeah. Teddy Ruxpin was possessed.
Yes.
I loved putting in, like, what you had to do is you get a Teddy Ruxpin and you get a good death metal tape and put that in there.
Yep.
It was the best to watch Ruxpin singing some death metal.
I didn't have a Teddy Ruxpin, but I had a creepy teddy bear. That thing I'd had since it was my great grandma's, and it had like one missing eye, and the other eye was super big and shiny. And I got my brother, he'll probably kill me for telling the story if he's watching, but I got him really good. Coming home from the Blair Witch Project, and I stuck that thing in the corner of his bed, and I had it reflecting where the moonlight was reflecting off that one eye shining in the doorway, so it just looked like this big old creepy eye was staring at him from his bed. That was pretty good. Didn't help that our dad came up right afterwards and tapped him on the shoulder while he's staring at that eye. Really freaked him out.
So we are getting mocked in the chat room now. I apparently am growing Cousin It on my chin, and Zorro looks like Uncle Fester.
Great.
They are absolutely loving that one, and we can't apologize for that low blow. And Marley Boss said, so I can get mocked for not junking up my space with stuff. So about the pops, I'm assuming, and collectibles and things like that. And they are now talking about what pops they got. Jack picked up Darkwing Duck. I have Nega Duck in my other room. And
I have Arya Stark.
Big Papa Matt says, well, and I have Mormont, Lana Mormont. I got the special deal. She's amazing looking. Big Papa Matt also said on the factor of them not going away. They have major deals with Walmart and Target. They'll be around a while. They actually just made a deal with Michaels as well. So they're getting exclusive pops at Michaels. So it's crazy how much the collectibles, how they're expanding in finding places to put their stuff, and making us the nerds that can't get enough of them. Run around like chickens with our heads cut off, trying to find the ones that we want. So, yeah. But moving on, that's the nerd news for this week. So let's talk about those great moments in nerd history of November.
Oh my god!
Before we move into that, if you guys are one of those ones that are gonna go buy collectibles like I do and stuff, great sources of that. Amazon's one. We've already talked about that. Go to the website, click on the Amazon link, helps us out. But support your local comic shops. Turbo Comics in Ohio, Idaho. I keep blinking. Is a great place to check out. Sky High Comics in San Diego. Ryan's Comics in Lake Elsinore. They're all they're local comic shops. So always go and check out your local comic shops. The guys that are there are nerds as well. They love all this stuff. They're not just people that are just looking to get a buck out of you. If they are one of those type of comic shops, then go find another comic shop, because there's a lot of them out there that will have great people there. But yeah, support your local comic shop. They're trying their best. So,
dang right.
Or Lurch with a beard.
Is that has to be you, Mist.
I'm assuming.
I know that ain't me.
Apparently you're Wednesday.
Apparently I'm Wednesday. I thought I was more like Gomez, but it's all good. At least in personality.
I don't think you're pale enough to be Wednesday.
Oh no. I think Beacon's saying he's Lurch with a beard.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could turn my upper light off and show you how pale I can get. Then I'll look like Wednesday.
No, we don't blinding. We don't need to be blinded by the light. Struck up like a deuce.
Wrapped up like a deuce.
I still can't. Yeah, I still can't get that lyrics right. Even when I'm looking at the lyrics,
and thinking
it's racked up like a deuce. Another roller in the night.
Yes, that's the right word. Don't just say it. Yeah.
And I enunciated that very clearly.
Yes. Yep. Okay, so great moments in nerd November. Igor, hit us with some of the stuff that you found that would be great to talk about.
Halo Combat Evolved premiered on the Xbox video game system on November 15th, 2001. And
you know how that just skyrocketed.
Oh, the best part is I'd completely forgotten the original announcement was in 99 by Steve Jobs.
Oh, really?
Saying how, it's coming to the, I believe it was the OS X Classic and Windows systems. And Microsoft bought Bungie 11 months later. And that was no longer on Mac.
I'm sorry, they're still going about the Uncle Fester thing, and they want Ian to get an eyeball now. Put it in his mouth.
We still love you.
We love you.
We still love you, Zora.
So Halo hit the Xbox. What are they up to now with the their 12th
Xbox? Not much.
No.
Yeah, if you count the branch offs, like Halo Wars and such, yeah, it's a good chunk. It's a good chunk. And of course, there's Red versus Blue,
which is my yes. If not for Halo, Red versus Blue, which I'm sure they would have found something else to tell that story. But I have the 10-year box set on Blu-ray, which I will go back to over and over again. I absolutely love Rooster Teeth with a passion, and Red versus Blue is what turned me on to.
I miss the comics.
Yeah. We're gonna say Super.
I cheered for Bernie when he was on The Amazing Race.
Wait, have we skipped nerd news? Because I did think of one amazing thing that I just found out today that I don't know if everyone is aware of.
You can chime off.
And this is amazing for me. All right. Well, I'm a big fan of John Oliver, which I know we're not going to talk about what he normally does. But if you're a fan of John Oliver, he is going to be the voice of Zazu in the new Lion King directed. Yeah, I don't know if everyone knew that. I just found that out today.
Yeah, they released the entire this week. They released the entire Lion King cast,
and he's perfect for the role. He already looks like a bird with his beak.
I just don't know.
In real life,
I love Billy Eichner, but I can't see anybody but Nathan Lane doing the voice of Timon.
Oh no, that doesn't work for me. It's got to be Nathan Lane, but I'm at least excited about that one. I'll see it just for that.
Yeah, no, John Oliver's a perfect casting for Zazu. I love that one. So, what about you, Igor? Sorry, not Igor. Zorro. What did was there something that you wanted to bring up for?
Well,
for
anytime we're doing one of these, of the month segments, I always go to pop-culture.us, and they usually have things broken down by date, and it's always pretty cool. One that I thought was pretty awesome was that on November 2nd, 2000 was the first day that the first crew got to the International Space Station. Like, I've always had in my head that, that it's been, I was born in the 80s, so it was always like, I remember it being built vaguely, but to me, it's just something that's always been there. And when I realized, oh man, that was only like 17 years ago. That's not that long. Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's actually been 17 years now consistently with people living or working in space ever since then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are an actual spacefaring society, kind of. One of my favorite shows of all time, Arrested Development, also debuted on November 2nd in 2003. And of course, that just didn't... The show was fantastic, but it just didn't do that well because Fox has always been terrible at promoting anything that's not reality TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got a second life on Netflix, and then...
Yeah. And of course, somebody was having fun on that site. November 6th, 1983 is the date that Will Byers disappeared.
So awesome.
Yes, I love that. That's a fact that's on
on
that website, and it is nerd news now. So if we can celebrate Back to the Future Day, we can definitely talk about when Will Byers disappeared the first time. Big Papa Matt disagrees with me. Says Billy is perfect for Timon's. Nathan Lane is amazing, but Billy will be a great fill-in. And I just responded with I can. His other acting he does well at. I just keep seeing Billy on the street whenever I hear him. So I just if I see him doing Billy on the street as Timon, I can't have Timon running around screaming at people.
I think that's a pretty good casting. I mean, like, he is Nathan Lane-ish for sure.
Yeah. So, and Seth Rogen, our favorite man that brings us Preacher, he is going to be Pumbaa, which I actually like a lot.
Yeah, perfect.
I can see that.
And welcome to the channel, Ken. He came in after all the Superman bashing, so that would have been much funner if Ken was here when it was going on.
Hi, Ken.
Big fan of Superman, Ken is. So Arrested Development, great series, has a lot of, there's a lot of pops of Arrested Development figures too out there. So, they've talked about doing more on Netflix. It's just scheduling has been troublesome because most of the actors have gotten other projects now. Yeah. So, but they would like to eventually come back and do some more.
Plus, I imagine it's got to take forever to write that many layers of plot. That Netflix season they did was just mind-bending.
Mm-hmm. But anything that you wanted to bring up, Mrs. Superhoovian or Miss?
Let me think. Some of the stuff I'd looked at earlier, I did see, trailing off of the horror movie that we did a couple weeks ago. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 debuted. I don't remember. Ian, did you bring up Thriller? We had the Thriller.
I didn't.
Release.
But
so Thriller, we all love Thriller, probably the greatest. And one of the songs for me that you put it on, and it even gets old cranky pants up and dancing.
It's not just the song that's released. The best-selling album of all time. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think we should all just start Thriller dancing on the screen together.
I think we should all sing it just for Jack.
I mean, I love Thriller.
We did not have enough tuning forks in the world to get us into the proper tunes.
So that was awesome. What else? We had the Tick. Emphasize that correctly. That cartoon debuted, which was awesome. I loved that cartoon growing up. Absolutely fantastic.
It's Mr. Menthol.
The cartoon was amazing. It was a great growing up with cartoon type of thing. It was getting into that adolescence. And then you have the new show on Amazon now, which once again, you know what you can do. You can go through the website, MaliceCorp.com, click on that Amazon link, go get your Amazon Prime, and watch The Tick, because that is much more truthful to the comic book
Yeah.
And the cartoon had the characters proper and everything, but the more adult aspect of it is on that TV show.
Personally, the release of the start of one of my personal favorite trilogies. I mean, it's no Star Wars, but Toy Story being released in '95.
Well, that's huge.
That's huge.
Yeah, that was the first all animated or computer generated movie.
Mm-hmm. And it brought us so many more good ones. But I love the original Toy Story. And it just one of the few franchises that honestly just got better with every movie. And you don't get to say that very often. So
and once again, as Igor brought up with Halo, Steve Jobs, if not for Steve Jobs, you wouldn't have Pixar, because he's the one that helped back them and get them going, the Pixar computer and stuff like that. Which we never would have had. All these movies that they put together in Toy Story blew everybody's mind when it first came out. So, because everybody,
we wouldn't have gotten the first 10 minutes of Up.
Oh God, Squirrel.
Yeah,
Squirrel.
Zorro's trying to get everybody to cry.
Someone's poisoned the water hole.
Favorite character in Toy Story? Go, Igor.
Ooh, I'm a sucker for Slinky because, well, I'm an earnest guy from way back.
Super.
If I had to pick all the movies, probably because he reminds me a lot of me growing up, Rex.
Nice.
Your arms were like this big.
What's happening?
I can't remember the character's name, but it's John Radikowski, Cliff Clavin from Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
I love that dude in everything, and it's basically the same character. Let me tell you about. I loved it.
Mine is rest in peace, but it is Mr. Potato Head. Don Rickles doing Potato Head was phenomenal. So and then when they brought in Mrs. Potato Head, that made it even funnier.
That was hilarious. That's probably my runner-up character because it was so awesome.
Insanely good.
Ready for the angry eyes?
So, it is such a great series, and to go from that first one to the third one and give almost as much emotion as that first 10 minutes of Up does. And they got the fourth one coming. I'm scared at how many tissues you're gonna have to bring to watch the fourth one. There might just be waterworks going. But yeah, Igor, I know you had some other stuff that you wanted to bring up about the
very first and last flight of the world's largest airplane was yesterday, November 3rd. Today is the 4th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was November 3rd.
Today's the
3rd. Today's the 3rd.
Oh yeah, there we go, the 3rd.
Depending where you're at.
Yesterday it was on the 2nd, 1947. The Spruce Goose was the nickname, but the actual name was the Hughes Flying Boat because it was designed and flown by movie producer turned aircraft designer Howard Hughes.
Turned nut job.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, but among many other things, he was well known for that because it could seat 700 men, had a 320-foot wingspan, larger than a football field, and it was made entirely out of wood thanks to the steel limitations during World War II.
Yeah,
and it actually flew.
It flew.
It did.
Not very far.
Didn't far.
He did an unsanctioned, unscheduled flight. So yeah, he got one chance.
Yeah, I remember when they had the Spruce Goose out here in California. I went and saw it when I was a kid and walked through it and stuff. It was cool.
Mm-hmm. It was cool. It was interesting.
Docked right next to the Queen Mary. It's on tour now. I don't know where it's at now, but it's definitely something worth seeing if you ever get the chance, just to see what they tried to do.
It's history.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely it gives you chills.
Oh yeah,
a little bit chills.
Hughes actually kept it ready to fly for his entire life. Spent $1 million a year on keeping it in a climate-controlled hangar.
Back on the subject of Toy Story, Ken said he liked Etch-a-Sketch in the chat.
I liked Etch-a-Sketch.
Heck yeah.
I have a fondness for Spanish Buzz when he got turned into the I love Spanish
I believe
Buzz.
it's called Spanish Fly.
Not that time.
Way to ruin it.
It's right there. Come on.
Before we get into our game, for you guys in the chat room and us here on the thing, I'm going to touch on the two little things that I found with nerd news that I thought, or nerd history, that I thought was pretty cool. Number one, Mac wasn't always the main leader in everything for personal computers and stuff like that. People liked building their own and being able to swap things out and fix things and stuff. And you could only do that with actual PCs, not Macs. And the operating system that majority of people used, if they weren't using Linux, was Microsoft Windows. And it debuted in November.
1983.
1983, yeah. So basically the 90s and the early 2000s, it was the dominant operating system. It's still a vast operating system, but now that Macs have overtaken...
Have they?
Yeah, pretty standard
with college students. But
yeah, but that's the wave, the millennials.
Yeah,
where, So the other thing,
oh yeah, go for it.
Where they did have a stranglehold on stuff that Macintosh did and Apple did, and pretty much still do. They have more competition with it now than ever. But was iPhones and their smartphones. Back in November 5th, 2007, the OHA, the Open Handset Alliance, which was led by Google, got together to create the Android operating system. And I personally am one of those that is an Android person. I don't know about you guys, but I prefer Android highly over iPhone. I know Big Papa Matt is going to rant and rave how wrong I am in the chat room on that.
I like a phone I can actually control.
Yeah. So, and
I'm actually doing this through Android.
PC gaming is bringing back PCs. So,
oh yeah.
So, that's helping out PCs to come back strong than Alienware.
The one last thing that I just wanted to point out real quick, nerd history, 1988, the premiere in my hometown of Minneapolis of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Nice. And now we have the offshoot on
the Jonah Ray version.
Yeah, I love the Netflix one right now too. So, so let's get into some of the movies and music that came out that was big in November. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna play a quote game. So it's gonna be name that movie based off of quotes. We're sticking with movies in the 70s, so we're not going all over the place. And then later we can do 80s and 90s and whatnot as we come back to November. But this first movie debuted in 1975. It was an Oscar-winning film. And I'm going to get
Godfather?
Nope.
You
can't get to the quotes.
Just don't throw out Oscar movies. Argo, Lord of the Rings.
In 75. Come on, that was a reasonable guess.
Well,
very small rocks.
Here's the first quote for you. Which one of you nuts has got any guts?
One of you nuts has got any guts? Where's J.K. Miguel when you need him?
Oh, the bells are ringing. The bells are ringing.
We've got get out of my way, son. You're using my oxygen.
Get out of my way.
I want to say Starship Troopers, but that was in the 2000s. Why, you apes want to live forever?
Juicy fruit.
Juicy fruit.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Is that the one that says I'm here to
give it away right there.
bubblegum it?
I'm prepared to kick myself really hard. No, that's they. Let's see. With Rowdy Piper.
I thought
Jack a little bit more of a sample that maybe gives you a little bit more. I must be crazy to be in a loony bin like this.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, 1975.
God, I haven't seen that movie in way too long.
We had Guesses of Apocalypse Now and Full Metal Jacket in the chat room.
How charismatic Jack Nicholson was when he was younger.
Yeah, Oscar winner for that. Film itself was an Oscar winner. Phenomenal movie, and that's kind of where we started falling in love with Jack.
That an easy
if
ride.
you guys haven't seen the movie, it is a must see. So
It is a good movie. It is a really good movie. It's a shame that I haven't seen it in almost 13 years.
Next film we're going to is going to be in the next year in 1976. It's going to be a horror film where the main actress was nominated for an Academy Award as well. I don't remember if she won or not, but
Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
this might give it away really quick, but red. I might have known it would be red. It's pink, Mama. Look what Tom
Carrie.
gave me, Mama. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, Carrie?
Okay, as soon as you said Mama.
Yeah, they're jumping into 80 films in the chat room.
Except for Jack, who's still talking about Max.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to a harder one. So this one just had a remake of it done.
Blade Runner.
Yeah.
It wasn't a remake. That was a sequel.
I know. That was the 80s.
It was in 1977, classified as a children's and family film. It'll probably be hard to get it off of quotes, but let's see. I hate pasta Huzuti, whatever the name of this town is. Guido? Yeah, I don't want to cure anybody here. They all deserve to have whatever they have.
Five-O comes to America?
No.
Pete's Dragon.
I got it.
Oh.
I knew Igor would get the more like.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie since I was a child. So
I saw it once and I said this was bull hockey and never watched it again.
And
I did like the
Ken
song
and
though,
Jack
Candle on the Water.
Ken and Jack got Carrie in there. Ken actually guessed it before the clue. I did. Wow, Igor, good job on Pete's Dragon.
well,
It was the running joke. It's what I do. It's what I do.
Five-O comes to him. I don't even know when that movie came out.
Yeah, came out last year.
Disney
Wasn't it?
Disney
Yeah,
already
it was a
did
live
a. Yep, they already did a live action remake of Pete's Dragon.
Well, I mean, Pete's Dragon was a live action with the cartoon
And
dragon.
it was so good. Everyone heard about it.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for my live action remake of Pirates of the Caribbean.
A remake of the.
what?
Yeah. I
You
think it was
confused
called
Igor.
Pirates of the Caribbean 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
my. Oh, where are they?
What do you got for us next? Songs?
That's what I'm trying to bring up. This one came out in.
Oh, I wanted to totally nail all the lines from Man Who Fell to Earth.
This one was
I don't know any of them.
1977. Science fiction film. And Spielberg and Lucas actually made a bet on this
Star
film.
Wars?
Nope.
Space Odyssey? 2001: A Space Odyssey? No, damn it. I know what you're talking about. THX? No, that was just a film. Because they made the bet about Star Wars and was it Raiders?
Let's see. Let me find some good quotes. Who flies crates like these anymore? No one. These planes were reported missing in 1945.
Oh.
I'm trying to check the chat room, see if anybody gets these. Okay.
Close Encounters?
Back us up,
That
Chad.
is it.
Oh, no,
Nice.
I didn't get it. Papa got it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So chat room has one. Igor has one. Zorro has
We
two.
have two.
And this is going to be, we have two more films. The last one will be the hardest one. This next one, I think Jack will jump on it immediately. This one was an animated film that came out in 1978.
It was Superman.
It follows a classic book.
The Hobbit?
Not
Or
exactly.
Lord of the Rings? I know there was...
Yeah.
Yeah, and it lasted like halfway through the second book, and there was no finish.
Well, no, then they came out with the cartoon movie later that was just Return of the King.
Yeah.
I never saw that.
Yeah,
It was good.
It was also Ralph Bakshi.
I watched both of the DVDs. Jack Malice owned them, so I watched both when I used to stay at his house. But yeah, Ken Johnson also said The Hobbit, so they're on top of it. The last film is also an animated film, and it is a very dark animated film about escape.
Huh.
Heavy metal.
No. Good guess, though. This one also came out in 1978.
The Dark Crystal.
This one's going to be the hard one. No, that didn't come out in the 70s. All the world will be your enemy, prince of 1,000 enemies, and when they catch you, they will kill you. But first, they must catch you. Digger, listen, runner, prince with the swift warning, be cunning.
Watership Down?
That is.
Yeah, I was thinking bunnies. What's the bunnies?
Watership Down?
Yep.
Love that movie.
Bunnies, emotional scars, Watership Down.
I couldn't get Secret of Nim out of my brain, and then I was like, it's not the mice. It's not the mice.
Yeah.
The other one.
That was 80s classic.
Yeah. Oh, I love Secret of Nim. I just couldn't remember when it was released, but I'm like, I thought it was actually later 80s. It's early 80s.
So yeah, all those films came out in November of 1970. So One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Carrie, Pete's Dragon, Close Encounter of the Third Kind, Lord of the Rings, and Watership Down. So pretty iconic films for Novembers in just in the 70s. So we're gonna finish out with some some music lyrics for some songs from the 70s.
Shake it groove then, yeah.
So,
Oh, come on. That had to be 60s.
Probably.
No, that was definitely
I don't remember
disco.
it too clearly.
That was absolutely disco.
you love her, but she loves him, and he loves somebody else. You just can't win. And so it goes till the day you die.
That's
Love
Adam
Stinks?
Sandler from The Weddings. This was talk about.
Can you name the band?
No.
I'm just feeling a little better that all I can think of is Lo-Fi by the X's from what, 99, 2000. It's kind of a similar tune.
It was Love Stinks by Jay Giles, 1975 when it came out.
Thank you.
You know, I'm just now realizing that was not an Adam Sandler original.
No,
Really?
it's not.
I've never heard that anywhere except The Wedding Singer.
Okay, if you guys don't get this one immediately, then yeah. Blue Jean Baby, LA Lady, Seamstress for the band.
Tiny Dancer.
There you go.
Hold Me Closer,
my
Tony
God.
Danza.
Which I first heard about in Friends.
1962.
One of the best scenes of Almost Famous.
Yes.
Yeah, we got Tiny Dancer on 1971 from Elton John. And let's see. We got another one that you should get immediately. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold.
Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven.
Okay. 1971 as well.
Damn. It's a good song.
In
No,
1972, we got in 1972 we got It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular
Piano
crowd
Man.
shuffles in. There.
Yeah.
Oh,
One of my favorite songs
so
ever.
sling us a web, you're the Spider-Man. Sling us a web tonight.
That was one of my favorite scenes on Castle. For anyone that may have watched Castle, is when when he bought the old haunt and they all walked out singing Piano Man together. So good.
I don't even remember that.
Okay.
I'll send you the link.
Once again, these are all iconic songs, so you should get these immediately. She keeps Moy Shandon in her pretty cabinet. Let them eat cake, she says, just like Mary Antoinette.
That is
She's a killer queen. Yep.
Yeah.
And this is when Queen started really coming in. That was 1974 for Killer Queen.
Consistently ranked as the #1 frontman of all time.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Freddie Mercury is a man. Okay. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Two Queen
Also
songs in a row.
So you follow up Killer Queen in 1974 with Bohemian Rhapsody in 1975. Two separate albums coming up, you know.
Ah,
And
Also
then
the
it-
only
and then
Johnny
it topped
Depp role.
And then it topped the charts again in the 90s after Wayne's World.
The
Mhm.
only Johnny Depp role I'm excited for. He's still supposedly working on a biopic. That would be cool. That would be
they are
really
doing
cool
a
with him
biopic.
as Fred.
They are doing it's being directed by, but it's not Johnny Depp. That's casting it. It's the guy from Mr. Robot is playing Freddie Mercury.
Oh, okay.
Rami Malek,
okay.
too.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay. So I'm going to cut out the first line in here because it gives away the song. The name of it is. But
Ruh-roh.
raised on promises, she couldn't help thinking that there was a little more to life somewhere else. After all, it was a great big world with lots of places to run to. Yeah, and she had to die, trying she had one little promise she was going to keep. Oh, yeah, all right. Take it easy, baby. Make it last all
Tom
night.
Petty and the Heartbreakers, American Girl.
Mm.
The very first line is she was an American girl. So,
Mhm.
but we
there
had to
you
throw
go.
that in there because rest in peace, Tom Petty.
I didn't get it until you said, oh, yeah, all right. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, now I know.
1976 is when that came out. Down to the last few songs here.
I'm really good on trivia night, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
I didn't get my
me
Queen or a Petty. I need to go home and
You guys
rethink
just
my
by the
life.
first line, then yeah. Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk.
Bee
I'm a
Gees
woman's man.
Saturday Night
I'm a dog.
or Staying Alive, yeah.
Do-do-do-do-do.
And then I have two
Or
songs.
it could be the Wyclef Jean remake, Refugee All Stars.
I think I want to eat a light bulb.
Which, if you've been watching Star Trek Discovery, that song was repeatedly on it last episode. The Wyclef Jean Fuji's version of that? Yeah.
I haven't
Okay.
seen. I
Okay.
haven't been kept up.
Yes. That show is now officially a Star Trek show because they had a time loop episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're-
Right.
Okay.
They still need a transporter accident. They still need,
Accidental cloning, yeah.
Okay. Last one. Two songs left. This is by a band. This was their debut album. And the first word's coming out of it because you guys will get it after the first word for sure. But you don't have to put on the red light.
The Police,
Roxanne.
Roxanne.
So yeah, the Police debuted in November 1978.
I'll
Not
get
even
something out of
try
these,
to
damn
say
it.
that one.
Did you see in the chat room, Ken laid down that Bram Stoker was born on November 8th in the 1850s. Boom.
Did not even realize that. That's awesome. And now they
So
have
we all-
Bram Stoker, the new film in development for the prequel with his great grandnephew.
Speaking of the Police, how ballsy is it to go from Gordon Sumner to Sting? Everybody just call me Sting.
But-
All right, Golden.
To reiterate, the running joke is when he retires, is he going to be stung?
Yeah. All right, Dad.
Okay, last song. Once again, you guys will probably get it on the very first line. We don't
By
need
which
no
you mean Zorro.
education.
The Wall, Pink Floyd.
School's out for the summer.
No. It's
That's a
actually
fair guess.
actually the song is Another Brick in the Wall, part 1.
Yes.
I was
And we
teasing.
got a kid singing in the chat room. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light because he's got it all in bold. But yeah, so once again, November, great moments in nerd history. Love Stinks, Tiny Dancer, Stairway to Heaven, Piano Man, Killer Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, American Girl, Staying Alive, Roxanne, Another Brick in the Wall. Which
Oh,
that
good.
alone, Another Brick in the Wall, one of the greatest rock operas,
Mhm.
you know,
The
of
Wall,
all time. Yeah.
Such a good one.
The film, which is crazy as all heck, but those all came out in the 70s in November. Next time we'll touch on the 80s and the 90s and so on and so forth. But
Awesome.
yeah,
We can skip over the two.
iconic films coming out during films and music coming out during November in the years past. So if you guys want to put together a good November playlist, go do that on Spotify. Now you see there's some great songs that you can throw up on there.
November Rain.
I don't even know if it came out in November.
Probably not.
Like that.
Probably not.
Just
That would
the
be
theme.
too ironic.
But I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. If you haven't voted on the Nerd Fight, the link is in the description below. The current Nerd Fight is the best CW premiere for the current season going on. Right now, Supernatural is in the lead after jumping ahead of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, but it is a definite fight. There are about 6 votes difference between the two of them. So the
Keep in
two
mind, we're just talking the premieres, not how the seasons have progressed so far, because there's been market improvement in some of these.
Yeah,
Yes,
and all the
there
shows
has
are on there. So if you wanna vote on any of the shows, because there's shows that don't have votes yet, definitely go click on that link. Vote every 12 hours. Tweet out the link to others and tell them to vote for your favorites. Let them know. If you're in the San Diego area, definitely check out Battle Mage. It's a fantastic brewery that does all things nerd as well. During Game of Thrones season, they actually have viewings of that. And check out our website, malice-corp.com. As we have more time away from the YouTube, we will have more articles coming out. I will hopefully be getting on to getting you guys more up-to-date pop culture news up on the website.
I'll be dropping some stuff this weekend.
And come back here every week for the Walking Dead MaliceCast TV Talks. That's on Monday nights. And generally, it's Supernatural on Thursday nights. They're going to be doing a double dose of Supernatural next week because we had some issues with Cox.
Oh, come on. Come on. Not that kind of issues.
That's the name of the cable company.
Lana! Phrasing!
So, what else do we have? Ken Johnson also said, Robert Louis Stevenson was born, Treasure Island, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So the writer of those in November as well. So awesome stuff. Battlefront 2. No, we don't have an article on that, Ken. We would love to get an article on that if you want to write one. But yeah, let's talk about where we can follow everybody. If you guys want to follow the website, make sure to click the link that's in the description or go to malice-corp.com. You can follow us in all the different social media platforms that Malice Corp is in. All those links are in the descriptions below. Go in and click on those. And you can follow Malice Corp itself at Twitter with the call sign or name at Malice Corp. And where can we follow you, Super Hoovian?
Follow me on Twitter at SuperHoovianNut. It's going to be always exciting on the weekends, always exciting during the week, especially on Supernatural nights. So it'll be a good time. Come join me. I love talking to people.
How about you, Zorro?
At IC Zorro on both Twitter and Instagram.
Okay. And anywhere that we can follow you, Igor?
Hey, come by and play with us as Malice Corp on Destiny 2. Or even just say hi before or after you shoot us in the face in the Crucible. Either way.
Also, if you guys want to listen to these casts on audio, they do get ripped to podcast.com, Stitcher, iTunes, not on a regular basis because we want to make sure that people are actually listening to them. And if you go there and subscribe, then and show love for those and put some reviews and things like that, then Jack said he'll rip them for you guys so that you can actually listen to them while you're driving to work.
Please, I need more things to listen to in the car.
But yeah, definitely check us out for what we have up there. If you've missed any of our previous articles or previous podcasts and you want to listen to those. And you can follow me, Mess5150, on Twitter at Mest_MaliceCorp. You can also follow our other co-host that's not here tonight, but is there in the chat room, Beacon, at Beacon_MaliceCorp, I believe. In the comments below, if you're watching this later, please give us votes as to who you would like to see be the next nerd icon for next week's MaliceCast. Right now, we are between Mr. Bill Nye, Chris Hardwick, and Ridley Scott. They all have birthdays in November. So write your votes into the comments, and we will see you guys next Friday for it. With that, I bid you adieu, and keep nerding on.
Rock on.